Merry Christmas, folks.
A beautiful Saturday, 2021. The New Year's just around the corner, right?
Yeah.
You have a great question. Maybe once in a great while, once in a great while, this has happened to you. What do you do when people don't keep their word? Right? Because there's a lot of sensations that can go on inside of us and a lot of meaning that we give to that. And I am looking for answers. So let's dive in. We're Rita and Tammy. Welcome.
Yeah. So we're just going to have a chat because, like how you said, there's things that show up. There's, there kind of where I go is like when people don't keep their word, I give them grace is the word, maybe. I give them the benefit of the doubt. And I like that's step one, right? Like, or I just say, look, I knew you weren't going to keep your word, and so you kind of get them off the hook, or leave them off the hook.
Yeah.
Right. So you get to acknowledge it the first time, right? The second time, it's like shame on the first time is shame on you.
Totally.
Second time is shame on me. And the third time is just know who you're dealing with, right?
Right.
That's one part. And part B is like, how many times have we not been our word to our own selves? How many times have we not been accountable to what we want to do? But yet we expect other people to be 100% their word when we're 50, 20, 20, 70, 80, 30, whatever, not our word.
Turn it around. Yeah. It's so interesting. You said the fool me. My dad used to say it this way. And this actually came up for me earlier this week. And I was like, oh, I have a belief back there that says, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And so so there's two things that I typically do too. It's either turn it on myself and be like, how come nobody will keep their word to me? What's wrong with me that they're not wanting to rise up to keep their own word? What's wrong with me that I don't keep my own word? And then the second thing that happens is I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this much time and then I'm going to bring it up, but then bringing it up can be a very negative experience because people don't want to get asked the question, right? Like, when are you going to do this? When, or, how long will we wait for this to be fulfilled? So those are the two things that happen for me, but those are great questions to think about. What is my percentage of being a person of my word?
Yeah. And not only that, but maybe have the conversation where we're taking some responsibility, because just because we request something doesn't mean people have to do it.
Well, right. But we're talking about people that tell you something. What do you do with people that tell you something and they don't keep it?
Well, let's get an example out there. Because look, this is kind of what happens in our world, guys. In brain training world, we're always living inside our head, never on the court. We're never addressing the issue. So this superficial possibility kind of thing, we never deal with the root of it. We never deal with the root of it.
So let's look at it. Let's use fitness. Just you guys can pick your own thing, but let's say your partner says, I'm going to do this exercise routine. I'm going to, stick to this, or I'm going to start it even. And then you wait and,
so this is, I have that kind of thing that goes on as well is, and I had it a while back where it was really flared up where they commit to like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to have fun. We're going to go. And then you get there and you're like, oh, change of plans. Right. And so really, who are you? Who am I as a response? Right. So take responsibility where I always have plan B ready. Right. I always have like, okay, that didn't work for you. I'm still going to do my plan B. Right. And I don't put a lot of weight on people, because people are people. People will do what people do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how much freedom is that there? Is there when you can say, okay, you didn't work out. That's, fun for you. What are you going to do? Not work out because she or he's not working out? No. Is it going to hurt you, or is it hurting them? Just make sure the life insurance is paid up.
Yeah, it's true. And taking the hurt and then moving forward with it. So using that method before you go to sleep is really helpful. The sunset method, which we can post below, to be like, oh, today this didn't happen. Notice how it is. And then to be able to see it in the future. I know that can be really difficult for us because our brains are not wired to see what we want. It's wired to see what we don't want. But if we want to create something different, we really need to be super focused on visualizing it the way you want.
Yeah. So what happens to me when my partner does not do what is said, I feel disappointed.
Right.
I feel hurt. I feel like, what, am I not good enough that you're going to schedule that when I'm here and we're going to do, like, I feel deeply remorsefully abandoned. So then I have to look at me, Tammy. I have to look at me, and I have to look at that part of me and see, where is it? Right. And then we just let it go.
That's right.
We let it go. We let it flow. We vent it. We switch it. We flip it, because really it has nothing to do with them, guys. It has nothing to do. Someone doesn't keep their word. It has nothing to do with them, and everything to do with how you are handling it. Because look, I can feel it. If I go there and allow that. So what we want to do is we want to heal that part of us, that part that has been abandoned and rejected, that part that trusts their whole beingness on that person, that wants, I want to anchor my life on that. It's like,
yeah,
hello, let it go.
A partner, right? Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just what we have. And I think what's important, the foundation is to look at how we are interpreting that transaction.
Right.
I mean, that transaction could be like a red flag for some people. They're like, fuck no, I'm not dealing with that, and that's why we have relationships the way we have relationships, because, consciously you might pick that person, but you don't know that's going to show up for you till later. And that's just for you to clean up. And our relationships are a reflection of what we need to clean up.
Right. It's your greatest healer to find out where. So like for Rita, it would be like, where was she abandoned before? Where did she learn to feel that feeling so strongly? And for me, it would be, that feeling like I'm just a doormat. And it's okay to not keep your word to me because I don't matter, basically. So finding out, where did I learn that? And of course, for me, it just goes straight back to my parents, to the way my mom felt. She felt like a doormat. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was, I was, a newborn, a baby, a helpless little baby that I get left in the hospital. Do I really know that? No. Did I hear people talk about it? Yes. Right. So somewhere when I first heard that story, it was, it was, I mean, it was whatever. You can make up your story. It could be a disappointment that you had to be left because whatever. It could be you're abandoned from your parent. And you know what? My parents could probably have been sitting right next to me, one on each side.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's just that child's perspective. And that's how come we have those reactions that are over the top sometimes. And the perspective of that little child needing to be important, or the way that you saw the situation of somebody else not being important, or those feelings are very immature to an adult. Right.
Yeah. And because they're, like you said, they're autonomic. It just happens. It's a trigger. It's old survival mechanism that's kicking in, and it's riling you up unless and until you consciously grab that and be like, okay, I know something's happening here. It's not real. It's not true. Right. Because all it was is they did not do this. That's all it was. They committed to doing this exercise and they did it. Right. So that's what was said. And then what we made it mean about us, and we collapse it, and it's chaos. Right there is drama.
Right. Our own drama. Exactly. So, you know, the biggest deal is finding those memories, finding those limiting beliefs, and then flipping them. That's why we have the Flip It crew. It's this, you know, flipping the switch in your brain to not be triggered by those old wounds, that happen.
Yeah, and that's because you're rewiring that wound. It's not a wound anymore. It's a gift. It's a survival part. You keep the wisdom out of that, you know. Yeah, you heal it, or you rewrite it totally.
Right. So we'll put the sunset method below for you, as well as our great stop technique for stopping some of those crazy things that go on inside your own head and knowing what to do. We're always just redirecting it back to what we want, stopping, redirecting it back to what we want, and creating the life from there. So like this video, share it with your friends, and go ahead and comment below on how or what you feel when someone doesn't keep their word with you. And we'd love to help you with that.